Competitor, man. Like, he's been a competitor all his life. I mean, you a fan of, his family, especially with Dion. Them guys was right there in my backyard in Jackson State. So, I was kind of watching them, especially when they was at Jackson State. So, I been knew he was a competitor. I mean, it's the reason why you see the free draft things with him and Shedeur. I mean, him and Cam. So, it's like, he's a competitor. He's gonna talk smack. I love it. You selling the tickets. You selling my tickets. Keep going, bro. Keep your head up. Keep balling, bro. Keep balling, bro.
The Cleveland Browns are slipping into another wild week of chaos, and while everyone is still frustrated with Kevin Stefanski's constant mishandling of Shedeur Sanders, something unexpected exploded on the field that deserves real attention. A hidden storyline came out of that Titans matchup, and it says a lot about the kind of respect Shedeur is earning across the league, even though his own staff keeps setting him back every chance they get. This twist centers around Tennessee Titans defensive lineman Jeffery Simmons, a straight-up powerhouse and one of the most intimidating pass rushers in the entire NFL. Simmons and Shedeur got into a heated moment during the game, and what unfolded, and what Simmons later said about it, shows exactly how players on other teams view Shedeur, even if his own coaches don't show him the same appreciation. Let's break down the scene because the context makes this moment even stronger. Simmons is not your average defensive lineman. This man is a wrecking ball who bulldozes offensive lines on a weekly basis. When he gets a sack, he celebrates like he just took over the whole stadium. And that's exactly what he did when he brought down Shedeur Sanders early in the game. Simmons dropped Shedeur into the turf, stood over him, and hit him with the signature wrist up celebration. You know the move, the one that basically says, "I just won that battle and everyone needs to see it." That's classic NFL energy, nothing out of bounds. Just straight competitive swagger between two elite athletes going at it in real time.
Simmons. It's very much like what happened.
But here's where things get really fun. Shedeur Sanders is not the type to forget a challenge, and he's not the type to let someone get one over on him without answering back. And he definitely wasn't going to let Jeffery Simmons walk away thinking he had the final say in their one-on-one battle. So later in the game, when Shedeur fired a gorgeous touchdown pass, absolute precision, full poise, he didn't run to celebrate with teammates like most quarterbacks do. Nope. He went searching for one person and one person only, Jeffery Simmons. While the Browns' offense was jumping around and celebrating in the end zone, Shedeur was already scanning the field with one goal: find number 98 and return the gesture. When you watch the footage, it's clear as daylight. Shedeur drops a perfect touchdown throw, the kind of throw that shows exactly why he should never be taken off the field near the goal line. And instead of joining the end zone hype, he immediately turns and starts hunting down Simmons. Once he spots him across the field, Shedeur makes a straight-line sprint toward him and fires off that same wrist-up celebration right in front of him. The message couldn't have been louder. You got me earlier, but I got you back, and I'm making sure you see it. That's competitive fire at its finest. That's exactly the kind of edge you want from your franchise quarterback. Someone who doesn't let disrespect sit, and someone who knows how to push back with confidence and style. The moment between them was electric. Both players were talking, both were fully locked in, and both clearly loved the intensity of the battle they were in. This is pure football. Two elite competitors trading momentum, pushing each other higher, and showing respect through their competitive drive, even if it looks like heated tension to the outside world. There was nothing dirty in the exchange. No cheap shots, no crossing lines, no genuine hostility. It was just football being real, emotional and physical, and it showed how much pride both players carry when they step on the field. Now, yes,
what time it is.
The Titans ended up winning the game, which is tough to accept for Browns fans given everything this team is dealing with right now. But what really made this moment stand out was what Jeffery Simmons said. Simmons could have brushed it off, taken another shot, or acted like Shedeur wasn't even on his radar. Instead, he gave Shedeur major respect and revealed something important about how players around the league are starting to see him. Simmons talked about how badly the Titans needed a win, how they hadn't celebrated victory since Week 5, and how good it felt to finally get back on track in a tough environment. He mentioned the weather, the crowd, all the challenges stacked against them. But when asked about the Browns, he said something that stopped people in their tracks. He said, "The Browns have a young quarterback that they stay behind right now." That phrasing matters a lot. He didn't call Shedeur a struggling rookie. He didn't say Cleveland is dealing with quarterback drama. He didn't paint Shedeur as someone still trying to figure things out. Instead, he said the Browns have a young quarterback the team is supporting, a quarterback the players are backing, the fans are backing, and even opponents recognize as someone with a presence that demands respect. That's not something said out of politeness. That's something said out of recognition. And it's wild that a star defender on another team can see the value in Shedeur Sanders while some people inside the Browns organization still act like they don't understand what they have. That kind of acknowledgement from an opposing veteran, someone who has lined up against every style of quarterback in this league, speaks louder than any highlight reel. Jeffery Simmons sees what's happening in Cleveland, even from the outside. He understands that despite the losses, the chaos, and Kevin Stefanski's constantly questionable decisions, the Browns' locker room has wrapped itself around Shedeur Sanders like he's their future. Players like Myles Garrett, Quincy Williams, and Harold Fannin Jr. have all backed Shedeur because they've watched his talent up close. They've seen the way he prepares, how he competes, how he pushes through every tough situation without making excuses. Week after week, he walks into challenges that no rookie quarterback should deal with, and yet he keeps showing up with the same fire. Simmons also shared something revealing about his own mindset, and it helps explain the energy between him and Shedeur during the game. He said he plays with passion, with joy, that football is a kid's game to him, and that he treats it that way. When the crowd gets hostile or fans start throwing gestures at him, it doesn't bother him. It fuels him. He loves being inside chaos and competing through it with a smile on his face. That's the exact same edge Shedeur Sanders brings every time he steps on the field. Both players get it. They understand trash talk. Celebrations and big emotions are part of what makes football great.
I told him, we talked after the game and throughout the game, like, you know, that's his team now. So he gonna be a star in this league. He already a star. So you enjoy it when you playing against a guy like that. That's, you know, can give you a little smack talk back, but you also gotta kind of let him know he's still a rookie. I told him that. He was like, "God damn, you back here every play." I'm like, "He's a rookie." So, but no, it was fun. It was fun to be able to, you know, smack talk, but also still respect the game.
You guys right.
They're not taking anything personally. They're doing what elite competitors have always done: challenge each other, respond, and make the game better in the process. The fact that neither had any issue with the other after the final whistle tells you everything. Underneath that heated moment was pure respect. Simmons wasn't trying to disrespect Shedeur with the celebration after the sack. He was just celebrating a big play. He was showing his passion just like any top defender would on a Sunday. And Shedeur's answer later wasn't anger. It was competitive pride. It was him saying, "If you hit me with something, I'm hitting you back with the same energy." That back and forth is exactly what fans love because it creates stories that go beyond a scoreboard. But here's where things get painfully real for Browns fans. While Shedeur is out there battling with everything he has, showing the exact fire and leadership a franchise quarterback needs, his own coaching staff keeps making decisions that work against him. That touchdown he threw, the one that led him right back towards Simmons with the celebration, proved something loud and clear. Shedeur has the accuracy, the timing, and the confidence to finish drives in the red zone. Yet Kevin Stefanski keeps pulling him off the field in the moments where his arm should be deciding games. Here's a quarterback who can put lasers into tight windows, who reads defenses fast, who stays calm in pressure, and Stefanski keeps replacing him with wildcat formations that haven't looked good at any point this season. It's unbelievable. Skip Bayless went after Kevin Stefanski in his post-game breakdown, and even though Skip is known for stirring things up, this time he wasn't exaggerating. He said Stefanski should be fired, not for shock value, but because of how the staff has continually held their rookie quarterback back. Skip claims Stefanski didn't want Shedeur Sanders in the draft in the first place, that he didn't even want him in the 5th round. And ever since Shedeur arrived in Cleveland, Stefanski has coached like he's trying to avoid proving himself wrong. Why else would Stefanski pull Shedeur off the field for the potential game-tying 2-point conversion? Why run a wildcat after it already failed earlier? Twice? Why keep taking Shedeur out of red zone plays, keeping his touchdown stats low on purpose? Why, in Shedeur's very first start against the Raiders, did Stefanski rely on the same wildcat plays instead of letting his quarterback control the offense? The pattern looks intentional. It looks like someone trying to limit a player's success just to support his own opinion. And Skip Bayless said exactly that, loud and clear. Now look at Shedeur's actual performance in this game. He threw for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns. He led the team in rushing and scored a 7-yard rushing touchdown. He drove the Browns 80 yards in 7 plays to get them in position to tie the game. He dropped a beautiful fade pass to rookie Harold Fannin Jr., a throw with perfect touch and timing. By every measurable standard, this was Shedeur's best NFL game yet. And after all that, after showing he could do everything, he was benched for the biggest play of the game. He had to stand on the sideline and watch another Wildcat attempt fall apart. He had to watch his own moment slip by because the staff didn't trust him, or didn't want to trust him. Skip pointed out what fans have felt all season. Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback Cleveland has been waiting for. People are showing up just to watch Shedeur Sanders play football, and that says everything about his impact. Whether someone loves him, doubts him, roots for him, or wants to see him fall, they're still tuning in. And that's real star power. That's the kind of presence that turns a struggling franchise into something the whole country wants to see every Sunday. When was the last time the Cleveland Browns were actually interesting? When was the last time national audiences tuned in, not because the game was on, but because they genuinely wanted to see what was going to happen next? When was the last time a Browns quarterback sparked countless debates, created non-stop storylines, and had fans all over arguing about his future? The truth is simple. It hasn't happened in decades. Shedeur Sanders has pulled off something incredible. He made the Browns relevant again, even while playing for a losing team and a coaching staff that doesn't fully believe in him. That kind of spotlight doesn't happen by accident. It comes from talent, swagger, toughness, an undeniable presence on the field. Skip Bayless brought up the comparison to Cam Ward, and that part matters a lot. Ward was the #1 pick, the quarterback almost everyone labeled as the top guy in the class. But when the two finally faced off, Shedeur completely outplayed him. The stats weren't close. The eye test wasn't close. Every measurable quarterback skill tilted in Shedeur's direction. And Skip, who had been saying before the draft that Tennessee should have taken Shedeur Sanders #1 overall, looked completely vindicated. Mel Kiper had also evaluated Shedeur as the best quarterback in the class. And week after week, both analysts are looking more and more correct. The wild part is how accidentally this all happened. Cleveland stumbled into drafting their franchise quarterback in the 5th round, landing elite talent at a bargain because other teams bought into wrong narratives about Shedeur's intelligence, preparation, and NFL readiness. This should have been a blessing for the Browns, a rare stroke of luck for a franchise that desperately needed one. Cleveland should be building the entire offense around Shedeur's skill set. They should be celebrating him, protecting him, and setting him up as the quarterback who can finally pull this franchise into long-term relevance. Instead, their head coach keeps sidelining him, their play calling goes against his strengths, and the organization risks wasting a rare young talent right in front of their eyes. Jeffery Simmons' respectful comments about Shedeur after their intense exchange on the field say a lot about how the league views him. Veteran players around the NFL recognize the talent. They see his preparation, his toughness, his competitive attitude, his refusal to back down from anyone. These are the traits that separate ordinary players from quarterbacks who can lead a franchise for years. And yet the only people who seem unable to appreciate this are in the Cleveland Browns coaching offices. That disconnect is becoming harder to ignore with each passing week. The fact that Browns players have already rallied behind Shedeur, despite the losses and the chaos, proves everything about his leadership. Myles Garrett, one of the most respected defensive players in football, has publicly backed Shedeur. Quincy Williams has shown support. Harold Fannin Jr., who caught that gorgeous touchdown throw, clearly has strong chemistry with him. These aren't empty statements or forced displays of support. These are real endorsements from teammates who see Shedeur every day in practice, who understand the pressure he's under, and who genuinely believe he can lead them into the future. The problem is the growing gap between how his teammates see him and how the coaching staff treats him. That kind of divide can't survive long in the NFL, when your locker room believes in a quarterback, but your coaching staff doesn't. It creates tension that eventually blows up a team's culture. It creates friction, factions, uncertainty, and it usually ends with either the coaches getting replaced or the quarterback deciding he doesn't want to stay. The Browns are sprinting straight toward that breaking point, and if ownership doesn't step in soon, they're going to lose either their coaching staff or their franchise quarterback. And let's be honest, between Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur Sanders, the choice is obvious to anyone actually paying attention. All season long, every time the Browns get close to the goal line, Kevin Stefanski has made a strange choice. He takes Shedeur Sanders off the field and replaces him with gadget plays, wildcat looks, or heavy run packages. The official explanation would probably mention matchups or defensive tendencies, but the real outcome is impossible to ignore. Shedeur gets pulled right when quarterbacks usually build their resume, meaning fewer touchdown passes, fewer chances to create red zone chemistry, and fewer moments to show what he can do under pressure. This isn't just questionable coaching. It looks like someone intentionally slowing down a young quarterback's growth. If Shedeur were struggling inside the 20, if he were forcing throws or missing reads, maybe you could justify limiting his snaps. But that's not what's happening at all. When Shedeur gets red zone opportunities, he handles them with poise and accuracy. The touchdown to Harold Fannin Jr. that Skip Bayless highlighted showed exactly that. It was a tough throw that required touch, timing, and total trust, and Shedeur delivered it under pressure like a seasoned veteran. That's not a quarterback who needs to be taken off the field. That's a quarterback who should be getting every red zone rep possible to sharpen his skills and build rhythm with his playmakers. The moment between Shedeur and Jeffery Simmons is a reminder of what makes football special in the middle of all this drama. At its heart, this sport is built on competitors who love the battle, who respect the grind, and who understand that celebrations and trash talk are part of the game's language. When Shedeur sprinted across the field after scoring and hit Simmons with the wrist-up celebration, it wasn't disrespect. It was pure competitive energy. It was Shedeur saying he refuses to back down from anybody, and he knows exactly how respect is earned in this league. And the best part? Simmons recognized it. When he said after the game that the Browns organization and fan base are behind Shedeur, it wasn't just a compliment. It was a sign that opposing players can clearly see what's happening in Cleveland. Despite the losses, despite the coaching confusion, despite the questionable decisions, people around the league can feel something special forming around this young quarterback. They see a fan base energized for the first time in years. They see a locker room standing with its quarterback even while the rest of the organization stumbles. They see Shedeur bringing talent, confidence, and competitive fire every single week. Everybody sees it, except the people calling plays for him. And that leads to the real question. How long can this go on before something breaks? You can't push down elite talent forever and expect the team to thrive. You can't keep blocking your own franchise quarterback's development, stats, and momentum and still expect the locker room, the fans, or the media to believe in your leadership. You can't keep making confusing decisions in the biggest moments and hide behind coach speak like process and competition forever. Eventually, the pressure gets too loud, the missteps pile too high, and the consequences land right on the coach's shoulders. Browns fans deserve more than this constant frustration. They deserve a staff that recognizes the talent they have and builds around it. They deserve play calling built to elevate their quarterback, not shrink his role. They deserve honest explanations instead of vague answers. They deserve an offense designed to highlight Shedeur's strengths, not minimize them. Most importantly, they deserve to watch their franchise quarterback get every chance to succeed instead of being pulled at the worst times by the people responsible for his growth. Through all of this, Shedeur Sanders has handled the chaos with incredible composure. On the field, he plays with fire and stands tall in pressure moments. His exchange with Jeffery Simmons proved that instantly. Off the field, he stays professional in every press conference, even when everyone knows he's frustrated with the coaching decisions. He prepares, he works, and he competes even when the situations he's placed into feel designed to make him struggle. He pulls his teammates together, earns trust, and shows leadership beyond his experience. He impresses opponents with his drive and character. In every category that matters for a franchise quarterback, Shedeur keeps checking the boxes one by one. Sanders is showing exactly who he is as a competitor, and it's impossible to ignore. He's not backing down from anyone. He's not letting challenges go unanswered. He's playing with everything he's got, whether he's firing a touchdown into tight coverage or answering a little trash talk with his own celebration. That spark, that confidence, that refusal to shrink even when the situation around him is tough. Those are the traits that define the quarterbacks who end up shaping franchises. Cleveland didn't just get lucky, they stumbled into someone special, and they're coming dangerously close to wasting him because of the chaos in their own building. And that's what makes this entire situation so unbelievable. So what do you think about this heated moment between Shedeur Sanders and Jeffery Simmons? Does this show the exact competitive edge you want from your franchise quarterback? Does Simmons' post-game respect for Shedeur prove that opposing players see what Cleveland's coaching staff refuses to acknowledge? How long can the Browns keep holding back their most talented player before everything reaches a breaking point? Fans see it. Players see it. Opponents see it. Everyone can feel the tension rising each week, and the story somehow keeps getting more dramatic and more frustrating. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this situation is getting more intense with every game. And if you're fired up by Shedeur's competitive spirit and just as tired as we are of Kevin Stefanski's decisions, make sure to hit that like button, smash subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our breakdowns of the latest twists in this ongoing mess of a season. This is Keep the Vision, and we're going to keep calling out these coaching decisions until something finally changes in Cleveland.